257 episodes, and we can't get our shit together ever.
Oh, it's so weird.
Is it still crackling now?
Headphone jack. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jack. Very weird.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, I had to close. I had the YouTube window open to see if everything was working. Looked like it was working, but we'll have to see. The StreamYard here doesn't tell you if anyone's watching. Oh yeah, we got one.
Oh, okay. I switched my speaker output and it seems to have helped a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, so everything seems better now. Still not perfect, but better than that was. Yeah, so the reason I was so upset earlier, well, not upset
with what you say, not how you sound.
Yeah. Yeah, the reason I was so fucking upset earlier was, you know how like you make little decisions that then all the little decisions you made hit you at once and it caused a headache. Like last night I was like, oh, I should probably drive my car in case I need to come home to record the podcast. And then I was like, I don't want to drive my car and I don't have house keys. And I just I just bought more data, so it should be fine. Then of course I couldn't record at the studio, so I had to walk home because there's 3 of us and I never made a third house key because I usually leave before everyone. I get home after everyone, so I don't really need one. But yeah, that decision like 3 weeks ago to not make a house key. So today I had to walk home, get my car, which is on the roof, so it's not in the shade. So it's like 1,000,000,000 degrees inside my car. Drive to pick up my wife's keys, and then she just forgot I was coming and her phone's on silent. So I sat in the alley in 100 and something degree heat for like 15 minutes waiting for her to remember me. And then she brought the keys down. So that's why we're an hour late starting. Not that anyone cares or minds except for me. But I was in the car doing that like, you're such an idiot, you fucking dumbass. You should have just like had house keys made. You know, as one does, as adults do. Anyways, are you ready to are you there? You're awfully quiet. So much editing all the time.
I'm here. Yeah. It's so loud.
It's soap. Is there a delay?
Unbelievable. Yeah, this is insufferable. It's a crazy delay. Can you hear me? I'm good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you not hear me? Okay.
No, I can hear you. I just got a text from the guy who's watching, and he says there's a huge delay. But I don't know if it's on my end or your end.
Mm-hmm. I could feel it.
It's just weird because when you're watching your own feed, there's no delay on my feed.
I don't know what to do about that. I don't know what to do about that.
This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I can go back out closer to my router. But I don't know if that's going to fix the problem because we had this problem at the office too.
It could be my machine. Fuck. I don't know. I could switch devices real quick.
Yeah, you want to try that?
Yes, I'm going to try that. That was like 4 or 5 seconds. This is bananas.
Okay, I'm going to go towel off. Motherfucker. All right, sorry, Dave. We'll get this sorted out in a minute. Luckily, we can hear the fucking garbage truck or whatever the fuck that is. I need more wine.
Fantastic.
Jesus.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think it was your device. I got a
10 minutes in.
I got a text from viewer saying that you were the one that was lagging. So it must have been whatever device you were on. Because you sound good. You look all
Good.
right, I guess. You need to just for men your beard, but other than that,
Yeah, it's got to be in front of my fucking face because of the fucking turn.
all right. We got to get. I mean, kids will be home soon. At this point, we're so far delayed now, so we should just get going. This is this is episode 257, I believe, of the Illustrious Gentleman Podcast.
If we don't know, who knows?
And because I thought we'd do a live show is why we are now an hour and 15 minutes delayed with multiple problems, including me getting heat stroke, you having to switch out devices. It's been a disaster so far. But yeah, episode 257, we're going to talk about Image Comics here in a bit. But I'm excited for the first time in several weeks. I hear a cocktail in your hand. What do you got there?
It's just DP and bourbon.
Yeah. Oh, because we had
That's Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I know.
Weirdos.
Yes. Because I had to change locations, now we can hear the fucking garbage truck. Some dude's hammering. Some dude's hammering down there.
Of course.
Can't fucking catch a break. All right. So
Afternoon delight.
What kind of bourbon do you have in your Dr. Pepper?
This is Russell's Reserve 10. I don't particularly care for it neat, so it gets DP'd.
Did you buy it? Is it in a bottle that's expensive enough that you thought you would drink it neat and then it became a mixer?
It was a birthday present. I don't know what it goes for. I don't think it's that much. 35 maybe. I think it's middle shelf.
Yeah, that's a little expensive for me. I went to Total Wine last night, and I hadn't been in months, and it was like I was there for like an hour, just browsing, seeing what do I want to buy? Because normally when I go there, I have like
kid in a candy store.
Yeah, normally when I go there, I have like $20 in cash, and that's like my allowance to buy what I want. Yeah, but now I got like real money kind of, so it's like I can shop and spend some money. So I wanted to get that Wild Turkey 101 rye, but all they had was the big bottle and sticker shock of $41.99. I was like, oh my gosh.
But that's a handle though, right?
It's a full liter, I guess.
That's 1.5 liters.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem that much bigger than a regular bottle. It's not as big as a double bottle. It's like a 1.5 bottle. I think it's a liter. That doesn't make sense.
No.
Anyways, so I put on my big boy pants and I bought it for $41 because even $20 whiskey lasts me a year. So this is going to last me a while.
Nice.
So this is a little bit of show drink. I also have a beer, but I got to stay.
That's a big ball.
I got to stay Thank you. That's what she said. I got to stay relatively sober though. I still have four pages the color of my own stuff before tomorrow at like 11 a.m. So I can't.
They call that the Lance Armstrong.
Does he only have one ball?
Right?
Is that why he's so fast? Because
didn't he have testicular cancer? Yeah, that's why he's so fast. The aerodynamics of having two balls.
Well, normally you'd have to, if you have giant balls, you got to split them on the seat, and then it's uncomfortable. He doesn't have to deal with that.
A rash of cyclists having surgery to have a ball removed, also they could win.
Yeah, if Team USA was all eunuchs instead of dopers, we'd be a powerhouse again. But yeah, 101 Wild Turkey 101 rye. I had this in Kansas City, and I loved it. But I'm not sure. Did I love it because I was in Kansas City? We're about to find out.
You can't trust vacation drinks.
That is smooth, like Lance Armstrong's single ball. Because aerodynamics, you got to shave your. Even if you only have one ball, you got to shave it.
Right. I'm picturing like the wind tunnel analysis of the
Uh-huh.
lines moving over a sack.
Yeah, it's like a Volvo commercial, but it's
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry if any women listen to this podcast. They've heard worse.
No women nor men listen to this podcast.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so but I also have a beer. So when I was there last night, I took a stroll through the craft beer. I'm kind of off craft beer, kind of off beer. I'm kind of off beer lately, but I'm so in love with Moto Sonora's design aesthetic that when I saw a Moto Sonora beer I haven't had, I grabbed it. And it's a sticker label, but it's the sticker label that's like matte with a little tooth to it.
Mm.
You know, it's almost like a rubber feeling to it. You know what I'm talking about? Like a matte. Yeah. But yeah, this is the Moto Sonora from Tucson, Arizona. Testarossa. It's a raspberry hibiscus ale because I'm becoming a weirdo who likes fruit beers all of a sudden.
Crafty.
5.5%, as you can see. I like that. I mean, I like, I like look how well designed this can is. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sounds like it's raining in Gilbert. Is it raining?
No.
Okay. Just some white noise. So when we turn this into
should I turn down my gain?
I don't know. No, your voice volume is fine. I think it's just it'll be fine because we'll turn this into one of those whispering videos that you like so much.
Lance Armstrong's testicles.
All right, I noticed I don't have the doc pulled up, but I have my notes that I'm going to be unable to read here in a few minutes.
Because of wild turkey, or
because now they're like getting wet because of the condensation of my glass, and then
no. What happened to your headband?
I took it off.
Oh, that's fun.
Sorry. I'll wear one for you tomorrow when we have lunch if you want. I'll let you pick the color. I'll text you
when we
tonight.
jazzercise.
Yeah, I'll text you tonight with all my different color options, and you can let me know what you prefer. So on TikTok, one of the things I put down for my TikTok, you put down for your Rex. So maybe we should hold off on it till the end.
Yeah, I don't have the document in front of me, but
Well,
I don't remind me because it was this morning, but I've already forgotten.
Well, I don't have the document in front of me either. Maybe I'll go ahead and open that since one of us.
I'm getting DP'd by Russell here. And I've forgotten everything.
Also, this is the Illustrious Gentleman. You can go to tigshow.com for all your Illustrious Gentleman needs. You can support this podcast, which I realize this is not the time to be asking you to support the podcast after this bullshit that's been happening. But you can support the podcast at patreon.com/Super75Studios. Scott also has a Patreon. It's patreon.com/ScottyGod. I'm sure his is more worthy, but mine's more important.
I have neglected it the last month. I'm so sorry.
There you go. It's like a child. Scott also has original art available at jeffmart.com, GEOFFMART.com.
And I am opening a commission list like right now.
Unbelievable.
Get on
right
it.
now?
Like right now.
Wow.
I have a piece of paper right here in front of me to take down names. I'm just waiting to hear from people.
Yeah, you're popping again, man.
Will it be you?
Your mic, I don't know what is going on with your shit all the time.
Pop it.
Yeah, it's crackling like it was before you stopped using your Apple products to record on.
I don't know. I'm using it. That's what I'm using.
Oh, and Dave, watcher/listener Dave's giving me live updates. He says it is a liter for $41.99 of Wild Turkey Rye 101.
That's weird.
That is weird. Just like what's going on with your mic. Okay, so you wanted to one of your notes for TikTok was She-Hulk, and I will say I watched. Oh my God!
What?
The background noise is loud.
I don't hear anything.
It's definitely your end. It's so much editing.
Fucking dogs.
No, I don't hear the dogs. I did watch
around.
I did watch the first episode of She-Hulk when I was dog sitting, but I did not watch the second. And at this point, there might be a third. I was pleasantly surprised by the first episode of She-Hulk. Keep in mind, I was working. I wasn't watching it so much as listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got all the Tatiana, whatever, Malny, Maslany with none of the CGI. So that might have helped. I did see the big superhero landing that they both did. That it seemed like,
Yeah, if Marvel would just pay their CGI artists.
Yeah, but the Hulk looks good. I think it's
well,
anti-woman bias.
Yeah, but they all they have the model already, right?
Right.
Hulk's been worked out. It's just he's a plug-in at this point. It's movie Hulk. They spent movie money on getting him to look that way, and now they just have it, so they just plug it in. It's right. Knowing nothing about how any of this shit works. That's my explanation. I don't know why she looks like Shrek. Other than that,
yeah. So I do have issues with her. Not just
it's a little janky.
Not just
who cares?
The janky CGI, but the janky design. Like they were afraid to make her too big, so they made her.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Tall. Yeah, they just made her like tall.
Yeah.
So that was a bummer, but I thought it was well written. I thought it was well acted. You know, they played well.
It's fine. It's fine. I didn't put it in the Rex for a reason. You know, it's fine. Yeah. I don't particularly care for the fourth wall breaking stuff. Fleabag ruined that for every other show. They do it so well there that nobody should even try because you're not gonna get there. And I don't know who she's talking to. Like, is that going to be? I hope it's part of the narrative. Like at the end of season 1 or something, it's revealed that she's not actually talking to us.
Yeah, she has like someone tied up in her basement.
It's part of something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like in universe, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think they're trying to play off the John Byrne She-Hulk series from the late 80s where a lot of the covers was her just talking to the reader, like speech balloons on the covers, and she was like the sassy lawyer.
I guess if you're going to do it that way, then do it like Office or Parks and Rec style, where they're making a documentary about this law firm, and this thing just happens to happen.
Yeah, this law firm who hired She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if Dr. Bong doesn't show up, I don't give a fuck.
I don't know what that is.
It's a John Byrne villain who had a bell, like a hotel bell as a head, and his name was Dr. Bong.
Oh.
You know, one of the world's greatest living artists, John Byrne, one of the world's greatest creators of comics.
Yeah.
Dr. Bong.
Right.
And then also there was a trucker, I can't think of his name, but he had I think his name might have been Warthog. He had a warthog mask, basically a skinned warthog on his head. And he was in that series too. So I want to see him in live action.
Cool. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And then upon first glance, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I'm going to start needing glasses on the reg when I read. But your note here, Arsenal 5-0 on the season. At first thing I saw when I saw it was like AR-15, and I thought this was going to become a whole different podcast. An entirely different podcast. Also, if anyone's watching, I know some people are watching. I see a counter. You can leave a comment if you have a question or whatever, and we'll read it and try to get to it. But after 5 games, the pride of Merseyside, the Great Blues, have 3 points, and the Red Gunners have 15 points. Top of the table, as they say.
Different directions.
Yes, and today's transfer day, deadline day. So we'll see. You guys got somebody. None of the names mean anything to me except I only follow Everton.
The amount of speculation constantly is I don't pay attention to any of it.
Right.
Like 1% of it comes to fruition. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and also like with Everton, we've had guys we've been trying to get all summer that are just now signing like right before the deadline. It's like, I mean, I don't know. And I don't care. We got to start doing more than, I guess I should be happy. We started with 2 losses. Now we're on 3 draws. We're undefeated in 3. You guys are undefeated in 5. So we're almost like the same team.
Almost.
Almost.
neck and neck.
Yep. But yeah, Arsenal's off to a ravenous start. I haven't seen you guys haven't played like Liverpool or Man City yet.
Man U this weekend, which
Wow,
is but yeah. I haven't seen Liverpool yet. City, Chelsea,
Yeah, we have
Spurs.
Everton has Liverpool at 4:30 a.m. on Saturday, and something
We
tells
did
me
beat Fulham, who was
not getting
turning
up
out
to
to be legit.
they're gonna run out of gas. Come on.
I hope not.
You think the world needs some Fulham?
I don't know. As somebody that is just completing like their first full year following the league, I would like to see the newly promoted teams stay.
Yeah, fresh blood's always good. Like Nottingham Forest got lit up yesterday, but they faced the wrath of the Howland. But
Yes.
I'm excited to watch Nottingham Forest this season. I'm excited to watch Leeds this season. As long as they're not playing us. Leeds has 2 American starters and an American coach, so it's good for the U.S. game that they do well.
Sure.
Yeah. Leeds America, baby. Let's do it. But yeah, early days. Speaking of early, like I mentioned, we have a 4:30 a.m. game on Saturday against Liverpool, the Merseyside derby. I don't think I'm getting up at 4:30 a.m. on Saturday to watch it. I'm toying with the idea because I'm going to be in Tucson this weekend, boozing it up. Toying with the idea, if I don't get back from the bar till 1:30, do I just stay up?
Mm-hmm.
Do I just sit in a corner quietly while John Lehman tries to sleep and just keep myself awake till 4:30 to watch the game? Or do I face facts that we're going to get demolished by Liverpool?
What are the odds of finding somewhere to watch it, like outside of the hotel room?
At 4:30? I don't know if it's even legal for
The
bars
hotel
to be
lobby?
open. Yeah, it'd just be me in a fucking Everton beanie and an Everton t-shirt, hooting and hollering. Yeah, I don't think bars can open that early, so I don't think I can see it anywhere. And there's no Everton supporters bar in Tucson. I'd bet your life on that. But yeah, early going, we're trending in the right direction. I think that's what you can say when you start with 2 losses and then you have 3 draws.
Everything's
we're trending
up.
upwards. Trending upwards. You guys can only go down. So what I'm saying is I'd rather be an Everton fan than an Arsenal fan right now. The odds are forever in my favor.
That is a reasonable argument.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's get into our topic since, like I said, at any moment in the next hour, any number of kids for either of us are going to be coming in the door. So yeah, I thought we could talk last year in July. The episode came out on July 4th, but we did not record it on July 4th because that's what's called a holiday. But episode 214 of this podcast, that would be 47 episodes, whatever. Episode 214, we went to Oro Brewing and we flipped through the Image Founders' first issues. Good time was had by all.
I wish I remember the bartender's name.
Good bartender. Good
Shout
beer.
out to that guy.
Good times. Yeah, he opened up early for us.
Comic fan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. The owner was nice to let us in, but then that bartender was a comic fan. That's right.
So we talked shit about Snyderverse.
We talked about Image Comics in episode 214, but this is the 30th anniversary of Image Comics this summer. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about that again. And do you remember what your first Image book was? Because when you got into comics, Image was already a thing, right?
Yes. I think my first Image book was Stormwatch 1.
Oh, that's such a great cover.
The Jim Lee cover, yeah. I've drawn that cover more times than anything else.
Today I colored. Oh, I forgot to. Cheers. We're done. We're done. Cheers. Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes, as of this morning, is done via the art team.
Yeah, I finished my drink. But
yeah, we forgot to start the podcast off with that. But as of like 10:45 this morning, my responsibilities on the book are done, and as of 2 nights ago, your responsibilities on the book were done. So it's in God's hands now, or as I like to call him, Dave Sharp, the letterer Dave Sharp. It's in his hands now. Yeah, Godspeed, Dave, because there's a lot of characters at the back half of that book. There's a lot of shit going on. Thanks, Andy. Andy says, congrats.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So when I was coloring this morning, I was coloring block of the Legion of Superheroes. And I just thought out loud, I thought to myself, Scott would kill it on a Stormwatch book because then you could draw Fuji, who's essentially the same character. They both got stump legs and like
they all look like that. Yeah,
but it's funny that you bring up
Fuji Maul.
Yeah, Fuji Maul has actual feet though. Fuji has just
at least Impact has hair.
Impact has like Jerry curl hair.
Yeah.
Like, don't let him sit on your couch hair. But yeah, that's just, yeah, my first thought was like, oh, Scott should draw a Fuji one shot. And then I'm like, who the hell wants any of it? Much less you. But I like that.
I'm typing up a picture right now.
Fuji was a cool character because he's a giant rock dude who also wore armor.
Is he a rock dude?
Wasn't he a rock dude? Not like a
think so.
Not like he didn't play bass or anything, but like
I don't think he's a rock guy.
I thought
he wore a suit.
I thought he was made out of rock. That's why he was called Fuji.
I thought he was just like big as a mountain.
Oh, maybe. I liked his mask though. He had a cool mask.
I should add that I never read Stormwatch #1. I bought it and I looked at it, but I couldn't tell you a goddamn thing that happened in that book.
Drawn by the late Scott Clark.
Trevor Scott and Scott Clark.
Yep.
Scott's. It's the Scott show on Stormwatch 1. And then the first appearance of Backlash in Stormwatch 2. That's exciting for me.
What's Backlash's daughter's name?
Oh, fuck.
Call yourself a fan.
Do you know it?
No.
Oh.
I don't fucking blow.
Don't you goddamn dare shame me then.
Every chance I get, I'm not sucking off Backlash and Brett Booth.
That's me.
Yeah.
I would like to say something, but I've got Backlash's balls in my mouth.
Ball.
No, he's got 2.
He also has to be aerodynamic.
The Flash has 1. Or 0, maybe.
0, yeah. He's like a Ken doll down there. Yeah, Stormwatch #1. Another, like totally a Jim Lee thing. Like, let's start a team. Let's start a book with 2 teams. Kind of like, well, Rob did it with Youngblood too. Like a team book with like 12 characters. Like, why the fuck not? No one knows anything about this book. Let's just do it. But yeah, that cover was great. That Stormwatch #1 cover is fucking boss.
Yeah, I love the colors on it too.
Yeah, I don't know who the colors of that would have been. But that's interesting. I don't know. Most people my age, I guess you are a little younger.
Chiodo?
I don't know if he was doing colors. Well, maybe. Yeah, it's a Jim Lee cover, so he probably did the cover colors. Joe Chiodo.
It's in this box right here.
The one with the image eye on it?
Yeah. Dig it out.
Something tells me one day instead of doing the page you were paid to draw, you did all your books and printed the labels and did that. Like you organized one day instead of drawing a page.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That seems like a Scott thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting for me, for anyone over the age of like...
This is why Legion is so late.
That would be your first book and not one of the founder books. But I guess you're just younger than me. You came in a little later.
Yeah, because I was still getting the Jim Lee X-Men books. I was still interested in that. But I was also a big Spawn guy. But Yeah, I imagine Stormwatch 1 was probably my first one, though I can also remember picking up, I think the first issue of Spawn I ever got was 16, which was a Capullo issue. I think it was his first one. And Pit 7, maybe? I can see those covers in my head.
There is a Pit 7. I didn't know Pit 7 existed. Yeah, I mean, mine was obviously Youngblood #1. 'Cause-
Malibu.
Yeah, Malibu. Yeah. Yeah, what was it? It was Image, but it was also like Malibu.
Or was that just the ad that they ran in whatever
No, I think
magazines?
I think Malibu might have printed all their shit, but it was Image Comics. But yeah, Youngblood #1.
There was a way to find all of this out.
I don't know. So yeah, I've been an Image guy since '92, and I remember getting Wizard and back then I think I would order because I lived overseas, so I'd have to order my comics, and I think I ordered from Mile High back then, and so you basically had to order out of previews. So when you got your order, they sent you a copy of previews so you could keep ordering, in advance. And
That's
so
tough.
I was the guy who I would get Wizard and I would get my previews and I would just I couldn't fucking wait. I was just vibrating with could not fucking wait for Youngblood and Wildcats and Spawn and Savage Dragon. It was I can always get the X-Men, and I was still picking up X-Men, but my energy was completely fucking dead eye focused on these guys who are doing what I wanted to do to the max level. They were doing it to a fuck everyone kind of level,
to the extreme even.
So I was fucking pumped. I remember just waiting every time an order came in, because obviously early Image had issues delivering product
Not many
on
of
time.
them.
So I would get I'd get an order. I'd get an order and I would tear into it because you never knew what was in it, because Brigade.
What the fuck is this gonna be?
Brigade #1 might have been
Shadowhawk
delayed
again.
2 months. Who the fuck knew? So yeah, it was every month was like Christmas when I got my comic book order, but I just remember just being so excited about it and loving it. Even when I'd read it, I loved it. I could instantly feel that it had less substance maybe than a Claremont Jim Lee issue of X-Men. The paper was a little different, the colors were different.
Nothing.
So I remember just being oh, this is what I wanted, but it's you really want fucking lasagna, but then they put fucking red peppers in the lasagna, some weird shit that some asshole wants to do to make it different.
Well, it's the case of the anticipation being the best part.
But I still loved it. I still collect. I mean, I probably collected Savage Dragon through the first dozen issues, Spawn through the first dozen issues. I have a copy of the first 4 Wildcats hardcover. I have it next to my desk. Just that shit. We talked about it in episode 214, but that shit just immediately brings me back to that. It's almost like a sensory, it's almost like a smell, like a sensory smell. It takes me right back to that fucking time of just being fuck yeah. Oh, it's so exciting. So yeah, I was there from the jump. I wasn't like you, a bandwagon fan who came in later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Do you remember when you started working in comics, when you thought you wanted to make comics, was Image your goal? Did you want to be an Image Comics creator?
I honestly, I never thought about it. It was not anything I ever considered. I don't consider a lot. I've never been a person with goals. Things just kind of happen to me.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about this before. You've never had a portfolio review. You've never pitched for work. I mean, I guess you have pitched for work, but you've been invited to pitch for work. You've never blind pitched for work.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked comics. I liked drawing. I thought, oh, I guess this should be a thing that, I should do. But I never, I don't pursue things.
Right.
I'm a leaf on the wind.
Do you remember, was Copperhead #1 your first Image work, or had you had pinups or? Okay, so you didn't have anything prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have a second fondness of Image Comics because when I was trying to break in, I made friends with, well, friends is a different term, but I was acquaintances with a lot of guys who had books at Image, but they were like new creators who had books at Image. So like I had a pin up in an Image book in like 2005 and an issue of Hero Camp, and then I had a pin up in an issue of Grounded, which was Paul Azaceta and Mark Sable.
That's yeah.
I pin up in like Amazing Joy Buzzards.
Yeah, that's a thing.
You know, so going down the list of Image books on Wikipedia this morning, it was like memory lane, just seeing all these like titles, like NYC Mech and shit, all these titles that I was really invested in because I might have had one pinup in them or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember like being fascinated with, but not really owning a lot, but being fascinated with like Jay Ferber's like superhero universe. He had like he had his own superhero universe, Dynamo 5 and Noble Causes. Yeah, when no one else was doing that shit, he did it. So like that kind of stuff was pretty cool. Going through that list, a couple things popped into my mind. One was I contributed to Pop Gun Volume 3, which is an Eisner Award winning anthology. You're welcome.
Ergo.
I've been part of two Eisner Award winning anthologies.
Holy fuck.
I have
is that in your Twitter bio?
I have like 2 100ths or 150ths of an Eisner. I mean, I don't get it. Like I should get it for a day every like 10 years.
Wow.
Right? Like the Stanley Cup, or maybe just for like an hour.
It's amazing.
At a con bar one night. But yeah, one thing I noticed was how much great stuff so many people wanted. So going back to my question, I dreamed of being an Image creator. Like that was a goal of mine. I wanted to do that so much. But it wasn't just me. Listen to some of these books that Image have published at one point in their publishing lifetime. Everyone wants to be a part of Image. The Crow has been published by Image. Bone, Body Bags, Gru, Madman, Ninja Turtles. Everybody wants that Image eye on their book at some point.
Yep.
You're not a fan of the Larson
Ninja Turtles books? None of those books needed Image.
No, but they wanted. It's not like they had to go to Image. They chose to go to Image.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of them are Dark Horse books that at one point went to Image, but they've all left Image as well. Maybe the grass isn't always greener. Yeah,
that's the thing. And I don't know how many people are aware that Image is just a printer, basically, and a distributor. That's it.
I mean, they're mostly the advantage of Image is the eye on the cover and distribution.
Yeah, they're just doing work that the creator doesn't want to do.
Yeah, they're facilitating stuff to make the creator be able to just create. Speaking of creators creating, I'm going to read off 3 titles, and I'm going to give you only one guess, to tell me who published these books. Which of the Image creators published these books? You ready?
Okay.
All of these are mid-90s Image books. Blood Pool, Blood Strike, and Blood Wolf.
Boy, I don't know. Was that the time around when like Terry Moore was doing Strangers in Paradise at Image?
You won. You got it. You won the no prize. It was Terry Moore. Colleen Doran. Actually, Colleen Doran did Blood Wolf. The best part about Blood Wolf is Wolf is spelled WLF, but not blood. Like they could have put an umlaut above. He could have made
That's too much. That's too extreme.
Would it be maximum if it was too extreme?
Ooh.
Or awesome? for a listener who doesn't know, Rob Liefeld went from Extreme Comics to Maximum Press to Awesome Comics. Awesome Comics actually had the
Tell me you're a California dude, bro, without telling me you're a California dude, bro.
what was the book? The Jeff Matsuda book? Was it Kaboom? Kablam? With that gave the kid
Boom.
Kaboom. That was a good
Kaboom.
book. I think Ale Garza drew some, and then Jeff Matsuda might have drawn a bunch of them. That was a fun book. That was an awesome comics book. All right, so I've kind of gone through my notes here of memory because we're pushing 45 minutes already. Believe
Can
it or
you
not.
imagine that conversation between Rob Liefeld and Alan Moore when he's pitching him to write Supreme?
At Awesome Comics,
Be a fly on the wall.
like, what are the most popular adjectives? And then I'm going to name everything after those. I never read and this is because I was an Image guy because of the art, obviously. If you were an early Image guy, it was always because of the art. And when they finally got Alan Moore on a book that could have had legs, like, you had the Supreme and Glory, he's doing like a World War II, like early Android Die Hard stuff. That could have been fun, but then it was drawn by I don't know who drew it, but
I think Chris Sprouse did.
I think he might have drawn
Alan
one or
Supreme.
two, but a lot of it might have been like back when Eric Stevenson was drawing comics, or he was inking for a little bit too. There's a lot of shit going on back then, and I'm not one to talk shit about anybody, but it wasn't drawn by Rob Liefeld or Ed McGuinness or somebody like that, as far as I knew. And I was, I only had X amount of dollars to go around, so I had to spend them wisely. But some of my favorite Image comics, Mr. Majestic #1, speaking of Ed McGuinness, might be one of my favorite single issues of all time.
Yeah, so you've said.
Mr. Majestic rearranges the fucking universe to confuse an elder god who's passing through, so he won't destroy Earth.
That's cool.
That is 22 pages of comics right there. It's not the first year of Authority or anything like that. It is 22 pages of Joe Casey and Ed McGuinness heaven. Mr. Majestic #1. I don't know if they ever made more Mr. Majestics because I don't give a shit.
They just stopped after that.
I was in Poist Codal Glow after Mr. Majestic #1. I couldn't pick up any more Mr. Majestic.
Oh my God. All right, everybody, go out and check your local quarter bin. Get yourself a Mr. Majestic #1.
It's so good. All right. You
But
want
though
to
with inflation, what is it now? It's not a quarter bin anymore.
I think they still have quarter bins.
It's a $2 bin.
No, they still have quarter bins. I picked up, one of my notes. I can't find it because of my scribbles. One of my notes is I go through quarter bins and I'm trying to collect floppies of an Image book called
Trencher.
No. No, I have 5 copies of Trencher #1. There's a book called Invisible Republic by Karina Petko and Gabriel Hardman.
Yeah.
And I had like 5 or 6 floppies, and then one time at Cab Comics, I collected I got another 6 or 7 floppies, but I'm missing key issues. And I told my dumb self, the fun of this would be trying to collect this instead of just getting the trades. Let's try to search out these floppies. But I can't remember which issues I'm missing. But it's a book I look for when I go to cons. It's a fun sci-fi book. Gabe's a great artist. I love Gabriel Hardman stuff. Probably more well known for being a storyboard artist, but a very good comic book artist who is in that rarefied air that he gets to choose.
Yeah, I used to. I miss going through that sort of shit. I used to live very close to Bookman's. I enjoyed going down there and just picking through the 50-cent comics.
Right.
It was nice.
I hear you. All right. So we're going to try to figure out. This is going to be it. If the first 40 minutes of this episode we're in a train wreck, buckle up. We're going to try to figure out if we could get a handful of artists who, if Image never existed, could they break away and form their own company now? And I know it's a bullshit because artists, it would be writers now, which we've talked ad nauseum about the lack of the superstar artist, or at least my belief that they're not being promoted as well. But I jotted down some names, and I guess my thought was they have to be both popular and commercial to cause a ripple in the industry and break away.
Yeah, this I think was a fun thought experiment for like the first 3 seconds, and then
Right.
the problem is that Image came around at a time where indie comics were not mainstream comics, and that's what Image made them. But now everybody can make a comic, and the
Right.
problem is that most everybody has, like, many of the people that I would have picked have already gone out and done shit, and it's not as it was not as successful as any of their mainstream work.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays, Image would be a virtual collective of artists, almost like a virtual studio, but they wouldn't necessarily form their own publishing company because everybody wants their own publishing company. Like a lot of the names I jotted down, they already have their own imprints, but then their books are published by Image or their books are published by Dark Horse, even though they have their own Substack and their own kind of publishing imprint. So I don't know if we'll ever see anything like Image again. But the first name that popped in my head of someone who could lead a charge, well, I don't even know about that. I don't know if there's one creator people would rally around right now to sort of like never do big two work again, come with us. The Jerry Maguire speech out the door.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I put down Jorge Jimenez, Pepe Larraz. They're probably the two biggest mainstream
I have them on my
dudes,
list.
right? They're probably the two biggest mainstream dudes that could launch.
Yeah, and I don't know of any independent work that Pepe has done. I mean, everybody has at some point, but the fact that I haven't heard of it means
Yeah, it might have been in
that
Spain,
overseas.
overseas.
It hasn't penetrated.
Right.
But Jorge now is doing Nemesis with Mark Miller, so that's a thing that's happening, and we can find out, how well that's going to go over soon enough.
Yeah. I'm surprised. There's a couple guys. So there's another guy on my list here is Somni, and he's done his own book at Oni. But I'm kind of surprised like him and Pepe Larraz haven't just been like go all in on themselves. And I understand if you're an artist who can get an exclusive, then you get health insurance, you have kids, you have mortgage.
Yeah, and I don't. Maybe it doesn't have legs anymore.
Break it out on your own.
Yeah, like if Pepe could go do his own crowdfunding book and make $1 million off of the first issue, but then what do you do from there?
Yeah.
It's easy to grab people's attention off the jump, but the longer he goes without drawing Wolverine or Professor X, I think maybe the less interest the general readership has. I don't know, which kind of blows holes in my argument from the previous episode, where I said everybody should do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you even see like in the early 90s, creators were king. Now, writers are architects and characters are king. Because even like Silvestri's coming back and doing a Batman book. I mean, he's been working on it for a long time, but they finally announced it. Like, Jim Lee's come back and done Batman shit, long for the last 20 years. Like Jim Lee worked on his own creator-owned books for way less than or way shorter time than he's worked for mainstream DC and mainstream Marvel.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, but also that I think they realized, we can sell a couple million copies, but selling a couple million copies in 1992 does not make Wildcats X-Men. You need 40 years of publishing history behind it to be that kind of book. I did put down Stegman and Otley, and both of those dudes. I mean, Stegman has his own imprint with Donny Cates, and I think their new book is over 100,000 pre-orders. But it's an Image book. But it's their imprint that they've done a Substack.
I mean,
now it's being published.
Otley made his name on an Image book, so
yeah,
I couldn't put him on my list.
Yeah, Otley, I saw him tweet out the other day that sometimes people tell him that his work reminds them of Invincible. It's like, what is wrong with you newbies?
He just tells them thank you.
Some other names I jotted down, Matteo Scalera, but I don't know if he has the wide mainstream following to break away and have the kind of success that
that's the thing, man.
I don't know if anyone does these days.
Yeah, I think he's universally appreciated. And if you got average comic reader to look at his stuff, they would be enamored.
Right.
But I don't know how much that name recognition is a big deal. I don't know how much curb appeal he has in indie stuff.
The other names on my list, you got Dan Mora, Fiona Staples, Daniel Warren Johnson, Greg
all
Capullo.
people with indie books.
Yeah, and also
already.
I think if you asked just a 13 or 14-year-old comic fan, because that's what Image back in '92, Image was geared towards, like teenage comic book fans. If you ask a teenage comic book fan now who their favorite artist is, it's going to be some indie dude, like because you can get everything online. Like, you can read digital comics, you can read manga, you can read all this stuff. You're never going to get 100,000 comic fans to all say one person is their favorite artist. Whereas in 1992, you had Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld.
Oh, yeah. We are living in a time where the title of current GOAT is a toss-up. Yeah. There's so much good shit right now.
Yeah, like you and I are naming guys and gals, Fiona Staples. Joelle Jones came up on a lot of lists that I Googled today. But we're living in a time where who we think the GOAT is different because we make comics. And who just a reader of comics thinks maybe their favorite artist is. Like, I think Brian Stelfreeze is a guy who gets, rightfully so, gets all the admiration from artists. Him and like a guy like Eric Canetti. All creators love him, but I don't know if they're going to relaunch X-Men with either of those dudes or relaunch a Spider-Man title with either of those dudes,
Right.
So it's just a tough place to be nowadays. And I don't know, again, if it's just, it could be not pushing artists for the last 25 years, but it also could just be that the pool of talent is so wide now. And the way you can absorb new media is so wide now. Like when Image launched, there was probably less than 50 monthly titles between Marvel, DC, and now with all the different publishers, I mean, Image probably puts out 25 monthly titles, 30 monthly titles a month. Marvel, DC probably 70 to 80 monthly titles a month. So it's just like there's such a wider spread. It's not such a concentrated pool of talent,
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
So yeah, my idea I thought this was going to be fun. I thought today's podcast was going to be a blast.
No.
I was super excited about it.
Wrong.
And then all this shit happened earlier. I just knocked over my whiskey drink. Luckily, it's just the ice.
What, a vodka drink?
Cider drink. But yeah, I was super excited. I wrapped up the book, super pumped, and then shit went wrong today, put me in a bad mood. And then this topic is not as cut and dry as I thought it would be. When I jotted it down in the notes, I thought we would have no problem coming up with 7 creators who could just break away and do their own shit. And I just don't think that that's needed anymore. And I think if those Image dudes were coming up right now, they would never band together. They would just each do their own shit. You would
Yes.
have Top Cow. You wouldn't need to band together for bargaining power and for distribution power.
Yes.
You'd kickstart one
It
book a year.
happened at a time, the only time it could happen.
Yeah. I mean, if Jim Lee was 1992, Jim Lee, I mean, Jim Lee's still great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying the hype, the buzz, and the popularity of a Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane in '92. If they were around right now, they could kickstart 1 4-issue series a year. Just do 4 monthly, do 80 pages of comics a year, and make a couple $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
and
easy.
work for maybe $500,000 a year, and work for half the year, if that, and still license that.
Image will never happen again.
Yeah.
So it's a knowing that it's difficult for me to entertain the scenario.
Right. So going back then, before we get to our recommended Image books, going back to, you were saying you never had, you never consciously tried to become an Image creator like I did. I mean, I've done 2 or 3 pitches at Image that didn't go anywhere. I did 4 or 8 pages, something like that, in Masks and Mobsters. So I do have like an Image hardcover on my table, that I contributed to. Josh Williamson's Masks and Mobsters, which there is a pinup of yours in there
somewhere.
You were the guy on that book.
Oh yeah, it's right there.
You were the guy on that book for a minute. But to me, it was a big deal to be an Image guy. And even though I just put my feet in the waters and I'd done anthology and stuff, like anthology work, Eisner winning anthology work, mind you, I didn't really feel like I was an Image guy. And I still don't really, I'm not a real Image guy. I'm an Image colorist who colored 1 book, and not even an Image colorist. I'm a Phil Hester colorist. But still, for 18 months, I had a book on the stands every 6 weeks or so with an Image eye on the cover. 12 issues of those, 3 trades of those, and I love it. It's one of the highlights of my career. Like the fact that Phil gave me that shot, like I love it. It's right up there with you giving me the chance on this DC book. Do you now that you have an Image book, did your opinion change, or is it just like it's another book? I mean, you've talked about for you to work on it, but is it because it's your own book or because it's an Image book?
I don't know. I'm proud of it because it's something I care about, but I don't know how much difference that eye makes. I remember, like, I made little notes and shit for myself, just to keep myself up and all that shit. And one of them back in the day was, "You're an Image guy now. That's cool." I guess I must have believed it. It's me being who I am also. It's kind of the Marx Brothers thing of, you don't want to be a member of any club who doesn't have you as a member.
So you think Image is slumming it by having you there?
It's also like Ned Flanders says that it looks like heaven's easier to get into than Image Comics. Everybody's a part of it. You can't. And I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. I think that's great. That's actually a great thing that everybody has an opportunity. And Image, they're not. It's not a fucking turnstile. They don't just let anybody in. If they don't think they can sell your shit, then they don't take your pitch.
Right.
They don't accept it. They don't give you the green light. So yeah, so getting that okay is still a big deal. But if you went to any, legit convention, do you think more than 50% of professional working artists at any convention have worked on an image book? I would say yes.
Yeah, that might be fair. They've published a lot of books.
So while I think it's cool and I think they offer a great service to comic book creators, it's not super exclusive, which is a good thing, like I said, but also it's, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a special club,
Yeah, I kind of disagree. To me, the fact that
I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on Image.
No, I know. Like the fact that I have a creators page on Image somewhere, so Image Comics website, they probably have 5,000 creators pages, but one of them has my name on it, not my photo or anything, but it has my name on it, and it shows that I colored 12 issues of Family Tree. Like to me, that's kind of cool. I often think about how close I got to my first book ever being published through them. The first book I ever pitched got pretty fucking close. Like I had emails back and forth with Eric Larson about how we'd market it, how it would sell, that kind of thing. You and I pitched a book in like 2010 that got pretty far along. It didn't get shut down at the first glance, so I guess that's pretty far along. How our lives would have changed had Rise been picked up in 2010. I'd be fucking living in a palace right now, I'll tell you that. But I still think it's a big deal. Like I still
running over yourself with your own car.
Yeah. Like I still think at some point I would like to color another book at Image and maybe write a book at Image. If the opportunity arose, it would be a big deal for me. Not that other publishers wouldn't be as big a deal, but they wouldn't be my first choice. Maybe that's the way to think about it.
Yes.
When you're pitching a creator-owned book, Image is your first choice.
Yeah.
Everything else is secondary.
Yes.
Everything else, and everything else is secondary.
Yeah.
And it's weird because some of those other publishers, like I did a creator-owned book at Dark Horse and I got paid for it. In the back of my head, I was like, it's not Image. Like I feel like I'd get more eyeballs on it at Image.
It's the house that Hellboy built, so that's neat.
Yeah. So both have their appeal. Next to working on more Image books, working on a Mignolaverse book would be. I'd love to do that. That's a much more exclusive club.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I'm ever going to get there.
No, you've changed my perspective a little bit.
I knew it.
Yeah, if you're looking to get out there and do your own thing, then that's the destination. That's the number one place that everybody wants to be.
That's right. Moving on to Rex, I just wanted to recommend 4 of my favorite all-time Image books real quickly. One is Invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Might be one of the best superhero comics. And also it's a super obviously because Kirkman wrote them all, a super cohesive universe of a superhero world. 100 and something issues, 150 something issues, 70 something issues. 80? Didn't they almost get to 200? I think they almost got
it's 100.
30, 40?
100 some.
I don't know. But yeah, Invincible's great. Obviously, Cory Walker is one of my favorite artists in the world. He only drew the first 6 issues. And the Cory Walker I love is a different Cory Walker than drew those 6 issues. But yeah, Otley's great on that. I love Invincible. Powers is what got me back into comics in 2000. I was out of comics, didn't think I could make comics, didn't think anyone would ever hire me for comics. And then I saw Powers, and I realized I tell the story all the time. Like, you don't have to draw like Jim Lee to make a living and like to work in comics. And that was also an Image thing. It was published by Image. So it was an Image book where it wasn't drawn like one of the founders. It wasn't one of the founders or a clone of one of the founders drawing this book. It was a completely different book, completely different style, completely different tone. And I was like, oh shit, this is a style of art I can get behind. It's a style of art that I can lend myself to. And maybe I can make another run at comics. And Powers is, I told Brian this when I got hired onto Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes. Powers is what made me take another run at being a comics guy. For after like 5 years of just thinking I wasn't going to ever work in comics. So literally picking up Powers is the reason I'm working right now. And then Rick Remender and Greg Tacchini's Low, which might be the most beautiful book ever made. They also did a book called Last Days of American Crime, which is fucking great. Greg Tacchini might be one of those artists who can do anything. And then I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Southern Bastards is my favorite comic of the last 10, 15 years. Just classic crime comic. It takes a world I didn't give a shit about and I thought I hated, which was high school football in the South, and made me love every aspect of it. So those 4 books, if you're not going to pick up the first 7, if you're not going to pick up Savage Dragon from issue 1 on, might as well take a run at Invincible, Low, Powers, and Southern Bastards. Did you put any recs down for Image books?
I know I always really dug the Wildcats concept.
Mm-hmm. It's coming back.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I don't know. I read Spawn for 50 issues before I realized that nothing was happening.
Have we talked about The Thing? Have we ever talked about that on this podcast?
What?
The Thing.
My 50 issues of Spawn?
No, the thing that you had a meeting about that didn't work out.
No, we haven't.
Right.
I don't know if I will.
Okay.
This fucking fly is driving me bonkers.
It's driving me crazy too.
No, I don't have. I never got into Invincible. I don't have a
It's funny you
an
like
Image
Otley.
book that I.
You're a fan of Otley, but you never got into Invincible, which is Otley times 1,000.
Yeah, I don't know what the barrier was. I don't know.
Hey. Matt Goodall chimed in and said Low and Tacchini for the win. Greg is so good. You're right, Matt.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's good. Also, I guess I should recommend Family Tree and Copperhead. I should recommend Copperhead because I don't get royalties from Family Tree. You get royalties. So everyone run out and buy all 3 volumes of Copperhead, and then Scott's royalty check will be 27 cents more than it was.
Ooh.
That'll get you a gumball. I don't think it even gets you a gumball these days. I think even like those machines in Walmart are like 50 cents.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. There's no pencil machines anymore. Were there pencil machines around when you were a kid?
Pencil machine? The fuck is a pencil machine?
You put a dime in and you turn the knob and you get a pencil at school?
What?
And then you pencil fought with them?
What the fuck are you talking about? Christ, you're old.
So my elementary school, you could Authority isn't an Image book, Matt. Authority is a DC. Authority was an Image book. It was a Wildstorm book. Yeah, so Authority and Copperhead just didn't make the cut, but I'm not going to recommend his book. Jesus, come on. I have ethics. But yeah, I guess I don't think about Authority. I don't think about the Jim Lee books as Image books anymore. I think about them as DC books.
Were they Image books?
The Authority was an Image book. The Authority was it was an Image book. right?
Was it?
Or was it a DC Wildstorm?
Stormwatch was an Image book. He sold what? When was it? 01?
Authority might have been a DC Wildstorm.
I think it was a Wildstorm DC book.
Yeah. True that. Okay, back to pencil fighting. So when I was in elementary school, you could get these pencils out of the machine for like a dime. And a lot of them smelled, they were like almost like scratch and sniff, so it smelled like bananas or watermelon or whatever. And they were perfectly round. They weren't the squared off yellow
hexagonal
Ticonderoga pencils. They were like rounded. And then you never pencil fought in school? Oh, you just cut out, so I hope that you're still there. Oh, okay. So pencil fight. Someone holds their pencil between their two fingers. Let me explain this as visually as I can. Someone holds their pencil with one finger on each end, flat. And then the other guy takes their pencil and you grab one end and you pull the other end back to where it flexes but doesn't break, and you snap it into their pencil to try to break their pencil.
Sure. Yes. That bit I'm familiar with, but
Pencil
the
fighting.
pencil machines is totally alien.
How do you restock your pencil stock without a pencil machine?
They're like pens. They're just around.
In my school, some people call it cheating, but we were a cheater school in my elementary school. You take the eraser out. Like I have a vivid, visceral memory right now. I can taste it. What an eraser tastes like when you pull it out of its metal sheathing. I mean, the metal has a taste, the eraser has a taste. You spit the eraser out, and then you chop the metal into an axe shape. And then that's how you pencil fight. You chop away at their fucking pencil. And then in my school, if you broke their pencil, they had to buy you a pencil. So it's a way to collect pencils.
Oh.
Yeah. Dude, pencil fighting was the fucking bomb. Anyways, we have one more note on here for Rex, but shout out to Image Comics. We love them.
Yeah, love it.
I'm sure this will not be the last. This is the second Image Comics special in 14 months. There will be another one. Your animals are beasts. Fucking beasts. I swear to God. There's one more rec on here, and I'm shocked that you wrecked this because my wife and I are watching it, and because we're watching this, we started rewatching the main show. And when you watch them both together, we're talking about the House of Dragons. And so we're watching House of Dragons, but it comes out once a week because we're all of a sudden living in the fucking past. But so we're rewatching.
I love it.
We're rewatching Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones is so superior to House of Dragons. House of Dragons looks like a PBS, like someone put on a fucking play in some bumfuck town in Connecticut, and that's House of Dragon compared to fucking Game of Thrones.
Wow. But I don't know. I think it looks fine, but I'm not going back and forth. I'm not doing a direct comparison.
House of the Dragon is fine. It's just the wigs are shitty. Matt Smith's face is shitty. It's hard to watch. I put in our group chat the other day. I don't know if the main character is cute or not. Like, that's confusing to me.
That's confusing. Was it important to you?
Is she supposed to be cute to a 45-year-old man? Like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know how
she's
old
like 16.
I don't know what's happening. Jesus Christ. This is why we had to podcast early, because kids get home and shit happens. So you're enjoying House of the Dragon?
It's fine. To me, it feels just like Game of Thrones proper.
Yeah. Are you watching as a family or as a couple? How are you watching it?
No, oh yeah, the 9-year-old on my lap. He especially likes the bordello scenes.
It's way tamer than the first handful of Game of Thrones.
It feels the same to me. I mean, I don't have any special affection for Game of Thrones. It was entertaining, I suppose. I don't really have an opinion on whether it was good or not. And I feel the same way about this. It's just, it's a fine way to spend
Yeah.
50 minutes or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
I agree. It has the funny guy from World's End in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Patty
he's in all the movies.
Patty Constantine.
Yeah, he's one of the Andys in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
You've got a
great.
mustache. I know. That's my favorite bit.
I'm enjoying it. I didn't put it on my Rex because I haven't watched the 3rd episode yet, but it came out today. Welcome to Wrexham. So to go all the way back,
I've been watching that.
To go all the way back to our football talk.
Yeah.
What got me into football was Welcome to Sunderland.
I've seen that
on Netflix, and apparently there's rumors that there are Netflix cameras around Sunderland right now. So I think there's going to be a 2nd season like 5 years later. That's what got me into football, and Welcome to Wrexham it's fun. I like it. I mean, as someone who has been obsessed with European football, especially British football, for the last 2 years, some of it is tiresome because they over-explain some shit. But for the guy trying to get into world football and getting into the English football, it's great. I mean, in the first episode, they explain the English pyramid tier system, which is fantastic. So I love it. I give it my highest recommendation.
I don't know about highest. It's fine. I mean, I like seeing the inner workings of things. I appreciate that Ryan Reynolds isn't being performer Ryan Reynolds because he creates the fuck out of me.
Right.
And I couldn't give 2 shits about Rob McElhenney.
My wife was like, why is he on here with Ryan Reynolds? And I had to explain to her that Rob McElhenney is like, he's so fucking rich because he created It's Always Sunny.
Right.
Like he's the powerhouse behind all of that, but he's just
D-list.
I guess
despite the money. I mean,
yeah. But they also address that in the first episode. It's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, fine, whatever. I don't know. I'm watching the All or Nothing Arsenal series right now, and it's 1,000 times more engaging, but I have a super bias.
Yeah.
So.
And you're already an Arsenal
fan. It makes my heart so happy.
And you said that's on Prime, All or Nothing.
Yeah, it's on
Arsenal?
Prime.
And it covered last season where
Arsenal last season
finished 5th.
Right.
Europa League, not
Champions
League.
And all the stuff that happened with ABBA was unfortunate, but you know, I can just like hear like the producers of the show just like getting down on their knees and thanking Jesus that happened, because it's free drama for a television show.
Yeah, I like to think of Europa League as first place loser.
Right.
I mean, my team hasn't sniffed either of the tournaments in a couple of decades. But we should quit because you have a dog with insanely long toenails walking around. Hey, you ever thought about carpet or some rugs?
I think about rugs all the time.
Maybe with some of this TIG show money, we should buy you some runners for your dogs to walk on, or booties. Get some booties for those dogs. Cheaper. Yeah.
I'll go on Etsy right now.
Yeah. Get some She-Hulk booties. All right. I've been forgetting because since you haven't been drinking, I've been forgetting to wrap the shows up properly. But Wild Turkey Rye 101 gets, again, much like Welcome to Wrexham, my highest recommendation. It might be the best bourbon I've ever had.
Recommendation.
That's right. I give it a 5. It is some of the best bourbon I've ever had.
Good. It's not bourbon, but good.
Is rye a whiskey and not a bourbon?
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ. It's my favorite rye then. My brother's a Bullet guy, and this is better than Bullet.
Cool.
So, you know what?
Was that too dismissive?
Yes, and Andy Poole says boo, but I don't know what Andy Poole is booing.
Boo.
He's booing that I like Wild Turkey 101 rye. It's 101 proof, and it's a smooth ass rye. I'm a smooth ass rye.
Wild Turkey's great.
The Wild Turkey 101's great. I mean, people, I don't understand. I guess this is where I'm going with my lack of, I'm not willing to pay $50, $60, $70 a bottle. If I already have Wild Turkey 101 bourbon and Wild Turkey 101 rye, does it get better than that? Do I need better than that? What's
As
the
far
point?
as bang for your buck, I don't know that there's anything better. I mean, we've already established that EDub is the best value in whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, that's my EDub. Oh. Andy Poole is booing the Rex Hammondation. But it's good. Yeah, I mean, if I have a $10 bottle of Evan Williams for my mixer, and I have the 2 Wild Turkey 101s in my shelf for my neats, I don't think I'd never eat. It's like, why do anything else? What's the point? Nothing's gonna be better.
I don't know. Who does Andy support?
I don't know. We'll wait for Andy to chime in here. Who do you support, Andy? Andy's British. He probably supports some weird ass like fucking National League team. The Moto Sonora Brewing Testarossa is pretty good. Yeah, I almost gave it a 4, but with all of our bullshit happening, it was warm by the time I cracked it. So it sounds like you have a human chained up who's just gasping for air and needs water.
To me, it sounds like I'm recording from the exit of some restaurant kitchen.
Oh, shit. Andy says he grew up in Liverpool with family torn between Liverpool and Everton, but he hates all that shit. Fuck, man. Fuck Liverpool. Liverpool's bandwagon bullshit. Get on the Everton train. It's easy to be a Liverpool fan. Hard work and real men are Everton fans. Shout out to Tyler Button, Liverpool fan.
Case in point.
Yeah. Merseyside, baby. Shit, Andy, if you're still there, I might see you next year because I'm determined to get over to Merseyside before they stop using the stadium. I got to see a game at Goodison.
Oh, my God.
They just celebrated their 130th year. The first game at Goodison was 130 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
It's 100 more years than Image Comics has been around.
We should qualify everything that way.
Oh, speaking of, so 92 was 30 years ago. That's hard enough to handle. 2007 was 15 years ago.
Okay.
That doesn't seem obscene to you?
The math checks out.
It doesn't feel like yesterday was 2007?
No.
It does to me.
Yesterday was August 31st, 2022.
You know what? If this keeps up, there may not be a 158th episode. Or 258th. There was a 158th episode.
Already, yes. God damn it.
Nice, Andy. So Andy lived in Everton. His grandpa had a wake there. Fuck yeah. A wake at Goodison. Jesus Christ. Andy Poole's
That's amazing.
Andy Poole's my new best friend, and he will be my host from episode
You can stay with him.
258 on. Did you get it?
No. Apparently I need to take a shower.
The best part is I could threaten you with no more episodes, and I'm just threatening myself.
Oh, yeah. Don't promise me a good time.
All right, Scott, let's wrap it up. So you had how's your whiskey with your mixer, with your DP and whatever bullshit whiskey you had, bourbon?
My Russell's Reserve 10.
So your Russell's Reserve 10, is that more than a bottle of EDub? Obviously.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You were saying it was 35, so it's almost as much as my bottle of rye that I love.
Something like that. Yeah, but it's half. It's 750 mil.
Right. So it's smaller. So where do you rate that? Like, are you just trying shit out? Like,
oh, it's great. No, there's nothing better than Dr. Pepper and bourbon.
Right,
That's
but you could have a Dr. Pepper and Evan Williams. You don't need the Russell's Reserve.
No, yeah, you don't.
Where does it compare with Evan Williams and a Dr. Pepper?
Oh, it's even par.
All right. So we don't need to run out and buy a bottle of Russell's Reserve.
No, and I've also got a bottle of Elijah Craig which I like more. So if I'm going to have something neat, it's going to be that.
Yeah. Also, don't forget how much I love. I think Scott does as well, but I'm only going to speak for myself here. The Evan Williams bottled and bond. If you want 101
good.
proof
Yeah.
bourbon for less than $20, go crazy. Knock yourself out, kid.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. All right. We love Image Comics. I care about you a lot. Love is a strong word, but that's private anyways. I'll see you tomorrow.
Nah, I'd use that, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay. You used to say funny things and then we'd end the podcast, but you haven't done that in a while.
No, I haven't.